Morning, April 8th, 1975. What appeared to be a routine combat mission would soon become history.
Several F-5E fighter jets lifted off from Tan Son Hat Air Base for another strike mission. Their assigned target lay far from the capital, deep in the southeastern combat zone.
Everything looked normal. Every pilot appeared to be following the plan.
Then, without warning, one aircraft suddenly broke away from the formation. The fighter bearing tail number 0380 turned away and headed back towards Saigon.
0380, confirm your heading immediately. You are leaving the assigned flight path.
Inside the cockpit, the pilot remained calm as confusion spread among his fellow aviators.
Instead of flying toward the battlefield, he accelerated directly toward the capital.
Below him stood the political and military center of South Vietnam.
His target was not an enemy position hidden in the jungle.
Her target was the Independence Palace itself, the heart of the government.
How could such a heavily protected system allow a spy into its most trusted ranks? The answer began years earlier, with a teenager hiding an extraordinary secret.
This is the story of young Vietnamese pilot and one of aviation's greatest infiltrations.
Long before becoming a pilot, he was simply a boy trying to survive a turbulent era. He understood that intelligence, discipline, and patience would become his greatest weapons. To achieve his mission, he would erase his past and build a new life. His first challenge was academic excellence, and failure was never an option.
Year after year, he proved himself among the most capable students.
The next obstacle was entering one of the most selective institutions in the country.
Security screening was designed to identify every possible risk before admission.
Yet every question, every interview, and every investigation ended in success.
His carefully constructed cover remained completely invisible to military authorities.
At the academy, his talent quickly separated him from the average cadet.
He mastered navigation, aircraft systems, and advanced flight theory with remarkable speed.
His achievements attracted attention from senior officers and flight instructors alike.
Eventually, his abilities earned him a place in advanced training programs overseas.
Thousands of miles from Vietnam, he arrived at an American airbase in Texas.
Gentlemen, the standards here are demanding. Only the best pilots will succeed.
The training exposed him to some of the most advanced aviation techniques available.
He learned complex aerobatics, navigation procedures, and modern air combat tactics.
His education continued across multiple American training facilities.
Every lesson expanded the skills that would later make him exceptionally dangerous.
He completed the program with distinction and earned the respect of his instructors.
When he returned home, he came back not as a student, but as a military pilot.
His career advanced quickly as commanders recognized his exceptional abilities.
Soon he would be entrusted with one of the Air Force's most valuable weapons.
To everyone around him, he appeared to be the perfect officer and aviator. No one suspected that one of the most trusted pilots was hiding a secret capable of shaking an entire government. Becoming a combat pilot created a terrible contradiction. Every mission could place him against his own people. He could not refuse orders without exposing himself. Yet obeying them carried its own cost. Each strike mission became a private battle, hidden behind a calm expression. From the outside, he appeared ready to attack, exactly as instructed. But tiny adjustments in speed, angle, and timing could change everything. Sometimes the bombs landed far from populated areas, disappearing into empty wilderness.
From high altitude, the difference could be almost impossible to detect.
Back at base, successful mission reports rarely raise suspicion.
His reputation continued to grow with every completed sortie.
Bad weather often became a convenient explanation for inaccurate bombing results.
For years, his secret remained hidden beneath layers of routine military paperwork. Mission after mission, he balanced survival, deception, and extraordinary self-control. But by early 1975, subtle patterns began attracting unwanted attention. Questions started appearing inside the security apparatus. The danger was no longer on the battlefield. It was inside the system. Then came a warning. His cover was close to being discovered.
The message was simple. Time was running out.
Years of preparation had led to a single moment of decision. He could disappear quietly, or he could act. He chose a path no one expected.
The following morning, everything was set in motion.
His aircraft carried 4 Mk-82 bombs and enough fuel for a dangerous mission. To everyone watching, it looked like another routine combat sortie. No one knew that one pilot had entirely different objectives.
The mission officially began shortly after takeoff.
For several minutes, everything appeared normal.
Then he prepared to make the most important turn of his life.
Without warning, aircraft 0380 broke formation.
You are off course. Confirm your intentions immediately.
Instead of answering, he accelerated toward Saigon.
(0380), you are deviating from the assigned route. Respond immediately.
He needed only a few more minutes to complete the mission. Dropping to low altitude reduced the chance of early interception.
The aircraft slipped beneath portions of the radar coverage. 0380, report your status immediately.
Acknowledge this transmission.
Flight controls are malfunctioning. I am attempting to regain stability. The explanation bought valuable time, but suspicion was rapidly growing.
Ahead lay the most heavily protected target in the country. The Independence Palace was now directly ahead.
At that moment, there was no turning back.
Flying at nearly 500 miles per hour, Trung raced toward the center of Saigon.
Every second increased the risk of interception, but the target was finally within reach.
For years, he had hidden his intentions. Now, everything depended on the next few moments.
0380, respond immediately. State your intentions and heading now.
The pilot knew there was no explanation that could conceal the truth any longer.
He lined up for the first attack run and committed completely.
The political heart of South Vietnam filled the gun sight.
This is it. No turning back now.
The first pair of bombs dropped cleanly from the aircraft.
But something went wrong. The bombs failed to explode.
Most pilots would have aborted the mission. Trung chose another option.
He rolled into a second attack run while defenses awakened across the city. The sky quickly filled with gunfire and exploding shells.
0380! What are you doing? Are you attacking the palace?
This time, he abandoned the automatic system and prepared a manual release. The second dive was even steeper and far more dangerous.
Come on! Release!
The final bombs dropped exactly where he intended.
Moments later, powerful explosions shook the center of the government district.
The attack had been completed in only a matter of minutes. Now came the most difficult part of the operation: survival. The Air Force immediately realized one of its own pilots had turned against it. Interceptors were sent into the air to hunt him down. Behind him was a city filled with angry guns and pursuing aircraft. Ahead lay territory controlled by forces who did not know who he was.
To them, the approaching aircraft looked exactly like an enemy fighter. Soon, he found himself trapped between two walls of fire. Everything he had learned during years of training was suddenly being tested.
Skill, timing, and a little luck kept the aircraft in one piece.
Then a narrow emergency landing strip appeared ahead.
The landing was difficult, but the aircraft reached the ground safely. The danger, however, was far from over. No one on the ground knew whether the pilot was friend or foe.
One wrong move could end the mission immediately.
The operation became one of the most remarkable intelligence missions in aviation history.
It revealed a weakness shared by every security system ever created. Radar can track aircraft. Soldiers can protect bases. But loyalty cannot be measured.
Trung turned a trusted fighter jet against the system that built it. In just a few minutes, he created one of aviation history's most extraordinary missions.